All right, shalom to the household of faith. Giving all glory, praise, and honor that's due to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Waharakah Kodash. This is a new series I'm starting known as AI and Tech, where I'm going to be going into some updates, some videos, some current topics, mostly floating on social media. And just a quick disclaimer, anything that I post is not, we know we're dealing with the internet and not everything is 100% factual, but the purpose of this is to bring out what's being put out there and just in the spirit of not being ignorant of anything going on out here, because we in some times where there's a lot of deception, there's a lot of things happening that are, we don't know what's real or what's not. Things are moving quickly in warp speed, and it's better to be have an eye on the possibilities and what's being put out there, because it's good to know what people are also watching. So a lot of these clips I'm gonna play are things that have been shared on social media that have thousands of hits and engagement, so we can see what people are being seen, what people are seeing, if I'm making sense. So this is gonna be the first episode, man. We're gonna go into, I'm gonna just pull the most 7 recent videos I have, and I'm gonna kind of play them and share. And I think this is gonna be good. The most recent stuff I have is dealing with the digital ID. So if you're someone that come across this video and you're not familiar with digital ID and it doesn't sound like nothing, maybe you will be influenced to see otherwise. And the purpose of these videos is for the sake of edification too. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, you have the men that have been set up in these last days to help edify the saints, to build up the faith of the household of faith, to build up the faith of the household of faith. And it comes by going into these current topics, going into history, going into prophecy, bringing out the Holy Scriptures and explaining them and making it simple. And through the spirit, edification comes out of that, which builds your faith, which is something you're going to need as we get deeper and deeper into this revolution, this fourth industrial revolution, where AI and technology is blurring the lines of reality and what's real. And also the beast is going to come down with great wrath, moving quickly. So first clip, let's check this out.
Technology and the digital infrastructure, I just want to emphasize how important I think that is, because in the end, you need the data. You need to know who's been vaccinated and who hasn't been. Some of the vaccines that will come on down the line will be multiple. There'll be multiple shots. So you've got to have, for reasons to do with the healthcare more generally, but certainly for a pandemic or for vaccines, you've got to have a proper digital infrastructure, and many countries don't have that. In fact, most countries don't have that.
All right, so here we back at the vaccinated stuff. We back at it. For those of y'all that thought it's over with, it's done, they ain't done with it. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back around. And right now, what we're waiting on, or what they're waiting on, this period that we're in of wait, is basically we just waiting on the infrastructure to be completely built and ready, because we dealing with a lot of countries, a lot of land mass, a lot of square miles that has to be covered with this infrastructure. That's why it's a lot of construction going on in these cities all over. All right, so again, he said we need a digital ID to see who has been jabbed and who hasn't been. Okay, and this is the former UK Prime Minister, member of the Fabian Society, Trilateral Commission, and the Club of Rome. Tony Blair is enthusiastically pushing for a digital infrastructure designed to surveil, exploit, and keep people in line. In the background, you see the World Economic Forum, which is all the O's have that line going through, which that line going through the O is symbolic of 666. And then the letter O itself, also on the alphabet, when you do the numerology on it, it represents the number 6 as well. There's 3 letters that represent 6 on the numerology side, and that's the letter F, which is equivalent to 6, the letter O, and the letter X. All 3 of those are equivalent to 6. So like when you watch Fox News, FOX, that's 666 as well. So the Bible tells us to, through wisdom, to pay attention to that number, because they use it a lot. All right, so let's go on to the next.
This is terrifying. In the UK, they're starting to label food with a carbon score. Like this sandwich, eating this uses 8.1% of your daily dietary carbon allowance. And the UK has been trying to get this personal carbon allowances passed since 2008. The government decides how much carbon you are allowed to spend every day in order to fight climate change, along with carbon passports that will tell each traveler how much carbon they are allowed to use each year. In other words, how much they're allowed to travel. And all of this is happening right after the UK has rolled out digital IDs mandatory to work. My guess is that digital ID will go in a digital wallet where you might also keep your carbon passport and track your carbon personal allowance. Oh, and don't forget the digital vaccine passports, that would go in there too. They got to make sure that you're up to date with your boosters if you want to travel or work. So if you live in the UK, you might want to be careful how many sandwiches you eat this year because you might not be able to fly home for Christmas. As always, I want to hear what you think about...
So you see, so synonymously when they're pushing the digital ID, telling the Brits that you have to have it, this is current events, and now you got all the Brits, you know, six-figure number of Brits protesting this. And simultaneously, they're bringing this too. Are they ready to bring this system out? So it sounds like the digital ID infrastructure is ready in Britain to be rolled out, and the people are fighting back against it. All right, so we just bringing it out, man. We reporting. See, this gonna rock the boat here in Babylon when you bring this, because these people ain't used to no limits on what they can consume. So we just bringing it out. Next one.
To how you prove who you are. Utah State is considering rolling out a digital ID to help prove who you are in your online dealings. But with data breaches on the rise, Jim Spiewak asked if this can be a game changer for your online safety and security.
Everyone is born with identity.
You control your identity. You should control your digital identity.
Christopher Bramwell, Utah's chief privacy officer, is leading the state's effort to create a state-endorsed digital identity system, which would provide residents with a verified digital credential proving they are who they say they are.
So someone being able to pretend that they're me probably wouldn't happen. The whole point of state-endorsed digital identity is to give you control of your identity so nobody can impersonate you.
Bramwell sees initial uses for digital identity for things like going through TSA or verifying identity for government services. But he also says demand is growing in the private sector.
Why wouldn't you just use an identity you control to log into services, and you don't have to worry about reset passwords?
Bramwell says once you receive your credential, the state won't know when you use it and it won't be tracked, but it would be stored securely in something like a digital wallet.
What do we tell people about why this will be secure? So security is our top priority, but most importantly, how do you recover when there's a security breach without having to do reissuance of identity to everybody in the state?
Utah lawmakers passed Senate Bill 260 this year, which laid the baseline policy that gives individuals the right to digital identity, but not a mandate to opt in. Senator Kirk Cullimore was the bill's sponsor.
Everything is digital now. A lot of what we do, even in interacting with the state, is digital.
With AI advancing rapidly, Cullimore believes many technologies will soon require state endorsement.
Do you feel confident that what is in policy right now as we start to build this out is the most safe and secure? The laws and the parameters to establish its safety and the security and the principles of freedom surrounding that are getting put into place.
Jim Spiewak, KUTV.
All right, so this here in Babylon, Utah considers state-approved digital ID. And as it says here, for those of you that say digital ID would never be accepted in the USA, they're building the infrastructure that runs your future with every login, transaction, etc. Are you starting to see why AI data centers are being constructed all throughout the USA? Probably a good idea to wake up before the walls completely close in. And that's the thing, most people won't, because most people were created in vain. All right, 2 Ezra 9 and 22, it says that the multitude perished, for they were created in vain. So most people are going to die in their vanity. Okay.
A good big change. This could be coming.
A good score brings benefits, but people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
It's a matter of principle. Those people have to be condemned.
Those people aren't honest, so they have to pay the price.
It's only right to pay your debts. You have to blacklist those that don't.
The Supreme Court has created a blacklist for so-called bad citizens, those whose ratings have dropped to zero. On it are companies, but also 23 million people to date. Among them is this journalist Liu Hu. He got a little too close to uncovering corruption among high-profile party members. After being sued for defamation by the subject of a story he'd written, he was blacklisted. He only realized when he tried to buy a train ticket and was told he was banned from traveling.
That tells me I'm still on the blacklist.
Punished because he's been branded untrustworthy by the state.
Ain't that a bitch? Once you're blacklisted, you can no longer get a bank loan. Let's listen.
Start a business, buy an apartment, or even send your children to a private school.
Liu Hu is among a tiny minority of people who have dared to criticize the system, which some are calling a digital dictatorship.
I think many people like me will be deprived of individual freedoms.
A digital dictatorship, yeah. And who's to blame? The state. You see what I'm saying? Like the boogeyman, the state. So you can't point the finger at nobody. It was the state that deemed me untrustworthy. Therefore, I can't. What? But this is the type of hammer coming down on the earth, and this ain't nothing but God doing this, man. And it's beginning in China, in the East. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 46. It reads, "And thou, Asia, thou art partaker of the hope of Babylon and art the glory of her person." Let's get the etymology of Asia. As it says in reference to the sun, that's the land of the sunrise, which is the east. So it don't get no further east than China and all that shit, man. That's the east. "And thou, Asia, thou art partaker of the hope of Babylon," because Babylon has hopes of having it like that over here. It says, "And art the glory of her person," right? "Woe be unto thee, thou rich, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with you. You have followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions, therefore said God." Yeah. And that's Babylon. Babylon the Great is hated in all her works. See? And China, they not gonna get away. These Moabites, they ain't gonna get away. They just where we at? Salakia. I think we left off here.
A good score.
And I've explained that if you sign up for digital ID, it'll be the last really important decision you make, because your digital ID will be the only thing that your governments, institutions, and anybody authorized by those holding power will recognize you through. So you won't exist anymore. You'll be replaced by a QR code. You are not a number, you're an address to some resources. And that makes it particularly dangerous because those resources can be edited, and one of those fields for sure will be your vaccination status. And I'm absolutely sure, because I've seen it written down in multiple documents, that your digital ID will only remain valid if you comply with the conditions of validity. So one of them will be, have you had your latest recommended or mandated jabs? And because of the fact that I'm qualified in toxicology and worked for decades with others in what's called rational drug design, when I look at these jabs, the constituents, I am certain, formally certain, that they were designed to hurt you. And so, the digital ID will lose validity unless you roll your sleeve up. You must see that's designed to injure, and I believe ultimately.
and this is not medical advice, by the way, but you have the former PFIZER vice president, Mike Yeadon, say this. Once every document, account, and right is tied up to one ID, your choices will no longer be your own. Banking, travel, speech, property, everything could be controlled at the click of a button. And this goes into the two horns, speaking like a lamb, coming as a lamb and speaking as a dragon. Revelation 13:11. But this is the dragon speaking when they get to this point. And they coming like a lamb because they keep pushing. This is for safety, security, and convenience. This is how they trying to snare you. If you sign up for this would be the last truly free decision you ever make. And this is why, because the cycle is going to continue. You're going to have to keep getting jabbed up and keep complying to have everything that you once had without none of those things. And then they're going to hit you with the chip. And then the Lord going to hit them back with his second coming, man. So we getting down to the wire. We're getting down to the wire. I had a scripture that came to mind. I'm going to go ahead and bring that out. Because this is all pure evil. Damn, where is it at? Proverbs 12:10. It says, the righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. This is some cruel shit what they doing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get one more. All right, so Chinese AI agent running 50 different social media bot accounts at once. Managing 50 social media bot accounts at the same time. These bots are programmed to post, comment, and like content continuously, mimicking human behavior across various platforms. The account appears active around the clock, contributing to discussions and spreading content, often supporting state-approved narratives. Everything online, a lot of this shit is fake, man. This brings me to this video, which I was bringing out in a lesson, and for some reason, man, my phone was acting up, and only half of it was recorded, and so I ain't posted. But that brings me back to what Key West, 19 Keys was saying, man. Social media is dead. They are using it to attack your mind, because a lot of this shit is fake. So they've infiltrated social media, and now they're using it as a form of mind control. See, running 50 different social media bot accounts. A lot of this shit ain't real, man. A lot of these comments that people are getting triggered and upset by and engaging in, it's not real. The content they already showing you with this Tupac and MLK content and shit that they can make anything look real. You see? And I'm gonna end on this one, man, because this is crazy work, man. Crazy deceptive. Deceived. I'm gonna get that in Ezekiel 14, because now the false prophet is running like crazy online. All these different people thinking they know something all of a sudden. These go into false prophets. Ezekiel 14:9, and if the prophet be deceived when he have spoken a thing, I the Lord have deceived that prophet. And I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people Israel. Because we got a lot of false prophets amongst us, and the real Israel God is not going to be deceived by these falsies. 2 Peter, let's try 3. Nope. 2 Peter 2:1, the rise of false prophets. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of, and through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you. And that's happening on the internet. people's covetousness is being tapped into, because you want what you see that this influencer got and what they're doing and where they are and their following and their fame and their glory, right? So through that covetousness, all right, shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you? They making money off of you. You supporting them, cash apping them, following, liking, subscribing, sharing. What is feigned words? Plastos, stone, artificial. There you go. Molded, artificial, fictitious. Yeah, a lot of this is fictitious, false words. It's not real. Can't make this up. Whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not, man. And these people are condemned. All these damn influencers, Charleston White, even 19 Keys, man. All these people, man, the Lord ain't dealing with none of them. So with that, man, I'm going to go ahead and close there. I pray this was an edifying lesson, giving all praise, glory, and honor once more to Yahweh Shem Shah. Shalom.